Are we filming? Yes, we are. So welcome to another video where I talk about a particular binder. And if you've seen my community page earlier on in the week, you will know that I promised to talk about this. Now, this, in inverted commas, is a Slimline Kensington, which was first introduced way back in 1999. I rate this very, very highly indeed. Very highly. It's one of those binders that is not everybody would want to go for one of these, because first of all the rings are only, well, traditionally they're 1/4 inch, but this is the metric version of 1/4 inch. So at a pinch it would take 80 sheets, and that's pushing it. So it doesn't hold very much, but it is a very elegant design, which hasn't changed much since the 20s. If you look at the traditional Slimline, it has a pocket in the back and these two secretarial flaps here, and it is made of a piece of full grain leather. So there are differences here, but they're not too dissimilar. One thing I would say is, although it is designated a slimline, if I put them together like this, you will see that the slimline, the Kensington slimline at the back, is actually maybe 5mm wider than the traditional vintage English-made slimline, and also it is maybe 3mm taller. So certainly the modern era slimline is slightly bigger, greater dimensions. And also the other difference is the fact that you have the pocket arrangement here. I actually like this better than this one, because as they get older, these flaps tend to not fit in the groove, as it were, so it's difficult to write on. But this is very well engineered. This might be nearly 1/4 century old, but I don't think this one has been used very much at all. This is actually very, very smooth to write on, and I prefer it like that, because I think the balance of probability is that if you are going to use a filofax, you're more likely to write at the front than the back. So it's better, in my opinion, to have a fairly flush fitting front inner cover, so that when you can literally turn one page, well, there's two there, but that still forms a fairly flush writing surface to write on. You don't necessarily need a dashboard. And then if you are going to have a full-length pocket with this inevitable ridge here, or an ID pocket here, where you have got this ridge here surrounding this plastic viewing window, you're less likely to write on the very, very last page of your filofax, unless you're really unlucky. So I think the design is very, very nice indeed. And of course, one of the advantages of owning a Kensington is the fact that the leather, like the Lyndhurst I reviewed yesterday, the leather is not prone to cracking. Some models, the cracking is very bad, as you know from some of my videos, but the Kensington is very, very good, and I like that. Would I describe the Kensington Slimline or the Slimline Kensington as vintage? Well, the jury's out, but in my opinion, as I recounted in an earlier video where I was talking about the whole vintage thing, I'm prepared to accept if someone said this is vintage, even though it's not an English-made Filofax. Given its age and the sheer quality, I regard Kensington models as vintage, alongside Portland and possibly Lyndhurst. There are other models that I would regard as vintage as well, but certainly the jury's out for me because I haven't yet had those models in my hands to sort of deliberate and pontificate and adjudicate on their suitability to be classified as vintage. But notwithstanding the whole vintage thing, I think this is a wonderful binder indeed. And I don't know how old it is, but it could be nearly 25 years old. But one thing is certain, it is in exceptionally nice condition, really, really nice. And if you're the sort of person that wants to overstuff a 30mm or even more, 30, I think the Norfolk these days has rings that are as much as 35mm. I mean, you can get stacks in there. This isn't for you, but if you want something that can just slip in a jacket pocket, or more likely in this day and age, a bag or a backpack or a man bag or whatever, this can work very, very well. And there is something that this binder has that not many slimline models has, and that is flatability. Look at that. Now, if you have ever seen Tom Hanks in Catch Me If You Can, he's in a cafe looking at his options and writing notes in a slimline Filofax, and it's on the cafe table and it's as flat as a pancake, like this. And if you stop and freeze frame that image in the video and you ask yourself, could he be jotting down those notes, pen in one hand, coffee in the other? Could he have actually done the job without that vintage slimline Filofax having the possessing the good flatability that is so essential, in my opinion? I don't think he could. So he could have used one of these, although I think the film is based on events back in the late 60s, so this wouldn't have been around then. Maybe this would have been around. And you do get some of these leather, full grain leather, vintage slimlines being this flat. Not all. You have to work at it. And some might argue that in terms of time, it's very expensive in terms of time to work a binder to get good flatability. But luckily, that is not required on this one for some reason, obviously due to the particular construction of this particular binder. There is no need to beat the hell out of to beat a recalcitrant binder into submission in order to get good flatability that allows you to write with one hand while you have your coffee in the other, or your mobile phone in the other. So this is really, really good. I'm elucidating unnecessary here, but it is what it is. It's a nice thing. Now this is a plug because I'm selling this. This actual binder is for sale right now on eBay, or at least when I last looked a few minutes ago. And this is going to be an interesting one because, as you're probably aware, I run two types of auction, if you like, on eBay. One is where I start at a penny, and then it follows the traditional path of a eBay auction. And then I also run what I call a pseudo Dutch auction, where I start at a fixed price that's quite high, and then drop the price by 5% typically every Saturday, but it may be another day. But generally, I drop the price by 5% every week until sold. So if you're interested in owning this, I'd be happy to send it to you, so long as you pay. No, I'm not going to do that. But it is at the moment it's online, and there is a link in the description below to my eBay channel, where you'll find other filofaxes, no doubt, from time to time. So follow its progress and then jump in when the price is right for you. If you leave it long enough, this will eventually go for £1, although with other people waiting in the wings ready to jump in when the price is right for them, that's unlikely, but you never know. So why not have a look and see whether it's still for sale? If it is and it's the right price, then buy it. That's my advice. Just buy it. No, I'm being a bit bold here, but no, it is the price is being dropped every week, so it's there, it's available, and it's up to you to decide whether or not the price is favourable for you at that particular moment in time. So, thank you for watching and listening, and until next time, goodbye.